So welcome everybody, welcome to the Doula Community Chat. This Friday, we are talking about cool products, just baby products. Some of them are pretty traditional. I just want to make sure I've gotten just over the time talked to a couple of doulas, especially for ones who, maybe had newer doulas who may have not had any children themselves. Or even some of the doulas I talked to, some of the older ones that are just getting back into the swing of being a doula, and some of these products are newer. I know, my daughter is going on 3, and I can't tell you how many conversations, how many times my mom is over and we're doing things in nursery. Her mom was like, "What is that?" There was some new product I was using, and she's like, "We didn't have that. You and your sister were fine." But, some of it's new advances. Some of it's just, convenience. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows about some cool products that are out there, and happy to hear about any other products that you all use or have seen, or want to get some recommendations on. Let's talk. Let's see what's out there that we can talk about. Okay. Hey, Tasha. Hi, Naya. Awesome. Okay, we're just getting started, so y'all are right on time. So let's move on. So as always, I think there's probably a couple of names I didn't recognize that are new. So just let me set up the context so you know. Welcome to the Doula Community Chat. We meet every Friday at noon. Well, every Friday unless it's a holiday or something special like that, at noon Eastern time. So it's open for everybody to come. What you see here is a PowerPoint. I usually just put together some notes, some thoughts for us to talk about and to share, so that way whatever the topic is, we're all on the same page. It just helps, because you will notice that on this chat, everybody's coming from different places and different experiences, and so this is a place where everybody should feel welcomed, and don't worry if you've been a doula for 1 day or been a doula for 10 years. Everybody's on the same page here. So that's one reason why I take the time to always put together some slides, just so everybody feels comfortable and we all on the same page. So welcome. I'll talk a little bit about the purpose of the group, and I see some of you all already have started putting your information in the chat. I love it. So that is great. That's exactly what we want to do, because we're a community. So this is how you network. This is how you connect with folks. And then we're going to talk about our topics for today. I've slid in there about budgeting, and I'll explain that a little bit. And then products. So this chat, this community, the purpose of it is literally to uplift us as doulas, uplift us, especially with the pandemic, but even after. It's just a matter of having a safe space where we could come share information, resources, questions, and know that you're going to be heard, and know that you probably will maybe come up with a solution or recommendation for any kind of issues or anything that you're facing as a doula. And we talk about everything under the sun when it comes to being a doula. And so throughout our chat, if there's any other topics that you think of, always put it in the chat box and we add it to our list. And we, if it's more than one topic that we're thinking about, then we normally would do a vote at the end. So don't be shy. Share any ideas for any topics that you have. But that's it. It is a place, open place for doulas to come from all over just to connect, especially in the midst of all that's going on. There's some doulas that don't know where another doula is for miles around for them, and there's some that are next door. But either way, this is a safe community where you can come and share. So in the chat, if you could, your name will pop up when you're replying in the chat, but where are you from and what type of doula are you? Are you a new doula? Are you a seasoned doula? But what kind of doula? So are you full spectrum, birth only, postpartum? Share that with us so we know who we are talking with. And there's quite a few new people. I see some more have joined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just getting started. So in the chat, if you could just say where you're from, what city, state, and what type of doula are you, or even aspiring. What type of doula are you aspiring to be? If you're in training or just starting off on your doula journey, let us know. Hi, Bobby. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I love it when technology works. Y'all know some Fridays I'm like, this Zoom is not working for me, but I'm able to get in. Well, let me not jinx myself. I'm able to get in and see the chat, so this is great. Julie, hello from California. Oh, Pizza, you're from Maryland. Karen, Tennessee. Gail, hey, I know. TGIF, right? Kristen, oh, Alaska. Kristen, what part of Alaska are you in? Jerry, hey, Jerry. From New York, Sarah from New York. We got New York here. We got Gail from Miami. I love the palm tree. Whew, what I would do to be able to go to the beach right now. Right? Yeah, you may have some guests, some visitors soon. I am trying to get to the beach. I am a beach person. Karen from Tennessee. We got California here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Colorado, the Florida, same. LA, awesome. And Atlanta. Oh, Richard from New Mexico, cool. Oh, you're in Fairbanks. Oh, awesome. Okay. I was military, so I know had a lot of family and friends in Alaska, so I just went, cool. Awesome. Oh, thanks, Junko. I love doing this. I love hosting this community. As long as it's valuable for you all, I'm down for hosting it. Thank you. Awesome. So take a look at the chat. And I say that to say, you know, there's been a lot of, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Doing our chat from the beach one day, Gail? Oh, I'm going to take you up on the offer one day. Wouldn't that be nice? So take a look and see if there's anybody in your area. If you want to connect, I know some doulas that have connected with each other and now they've worked it out so they're backups for each other and things. So that's why I take the moment just for us to fill in our information in chat, because you never know. You know, you never know. And I love seeing what types of doulas we are, because there's some specialties that we don't really talk about all the time. So it's good to at least see what's out there. Nevada, awesome. So welcome everybody. And I would ask if you know any other doulas that you think the chat may be helpful for, they would like to be a part of it, certainly feel free to invite them. Absolutely, just send them the link any Friday and they are more than welcome to join. So for those who are new, I'm Bianca Marie, and I am, my most important job is a mom. You see my 2-year-old there. I also have an 11-year-old bonus son, and I jokingly say, but I'm serious, he always says, Mom, stop showing pictures of me to all those ladies. So you always will see pictures of my daughter because she hasn't balked at it yet. So, but I know that day is probably coming. So mom of 2, I've been in the public health world for years and years and years. That's my passion and my purpose for everything that I do really in the professional sense. Women's health has been my specialty. I have 3 degrees in it and working on my 4th, and my doctorate specifically working with trauma that women have through birth and afterwards. And so when I'm sharing my knowledge, sharing my insight, sharing my recommendations, suggestions, is coming from both lens, from a person of passion. This is what I do. If I wasn't talking to you all today about this, I'll be talking to some other group. This is literally what I do, but then also from professional experience as well. So one of the newer things that I do and I love doing is teaching as well. So throughout the course of the year, I let folks know about any classes that I have coming up, as well as any opportunities in my coaching program. One of my degrees is an MBA, and so as doulas, one of the things that I see is constantly lacking or having a little issues with is the business part of our practice. And you gotta have both, you know, you gotta have both. If you wanna do it more than a hobby, I'll say that caveat. So that is who I am in a nutshell, and let's get started. So first, let me look at the chat one last thing, if there's any questions or anything like that. Oh, isn't it funny? It's such a small world. Gail and Esther, you all know each other. That's funny. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so budgeting for baby. So as we go today, we're going to talk about some products. I always, even with working with my clients, I always talk about budgeting, because y'all know there's 1,000,001 products out there, right? And so with families, you think about, okay, well, as a mom or a birthing person or a family, you can totally get overwhelmed, right? With, okay, what do I put in the nursery? You know, how do you not break the bank when you're trying to prepare for the baby? And so I've written some couple blogs on it. And I just wanted to put a couple bullets for us as doulas to always just have in the back of our head, because more than often you're going to get a question or a comment from a family that's like, well, what product about this, or what type of bottles on this side, or what would you recommend in this area? Everything from a diaper cream to, you know, a stroller, anything of that nature. And so I always just like for us to be aware or cognizant of the fact that, you know, especially in this world that we're in right now, budget may be of concern. And so there's some things that we can kind of advise our families with in order to kind of take away some of the stress or the anxiety, that you don't have to get everything under the sun that's out there, right? And then we can be thoughtful in what type of products we go for. So every family has different needs, you know, especially if a family is has multiple children or siblings. There may be some things that they don't need. You know, there may be things that they can reuse. But you need to just be aware when you have those types of conversations to what products they may be considering reusing. For example, you know, like car seats, you know, they have expiration dates. And so if the oldest, you know, if their youngest child is 10 years old and now the mom is pregnant, well, that's, you know, they probably won't have the car seat, but you get what I'm saying. It's like certain products you don't want to reuse. But you just want to think about what are their needs and just prepare a list, or help them prepare a list if that's what you're going to do as a doula for their particular needs. And having a conversation with them about their goals, about their lifestyle, about what they would like to do after the baby comes, and those sorts of things helps with understanding kind of what that list should look like. And again, every baby item out there in the market doesn't mean that they need to grab it, right? So if I would just say, as a doula, when you speak with them, just make sure they're starting with the basic necessities first, especially if it is their first time with bringing home a newborn, because you may not know what you really need until after the baby comes home. Or, for example, just example of bottles. Don't want to go out and buy, you know, 20 different bottles. You know, even though you may find them on sale or something, you may not want to go out and buy 20 bottles, just because, you know, some babies have different likes when it comes to bottles. So you may buy 20 bottles and the baby's not liking, or you may find that that bottle has too much air in it, even when you change the nipple size. So just certain things you want to just try. Just get like smaller size, even things like lotions, because you never know the baby's going to be sensitive to things. And so you may not want to go out and buy, you know, multiple lotions or big sizes of lotions. You may want to start with the trial size and see what works for you as the parent, you know, as well as, or your client, as well as for the baby. So just consider the necessities. And then if it's something unique, something you're not really sure of, go for that trial size first. So that can certainly help on your budget. So after you get the necessities down, then go for those cool products, or those, you know, products that are more on the indulgent side. One of the other things, the ways to find, because, you know, on YouTube, you can find so many videos, and they're good, but so many videos out there about like, what's in my hospital bag? You know, like, what did I prepare when I, you know, what did we bring to the hospital, and what do we have as soon as we come home from the hospital? Some of those videos are a little extra. And I say that to say, you don't, I've never seen a mom or a parent have to bring a pillow to the hospital. The hospital has plenty of pillows, right? So those are certain things that you just want to, and this is, again, if this is your role as a doula that you're playing with your particular client, if you're helping them with that list, or you're helping them with that hospital bag, you just want to just make sure that they consider what does the hospital already have, and then fill in those gaps, as well as when you're doing the tour, you can recommend when they do the tour just to ask questions then, if they're doing a virtual tour, or, you know, in the future they're doing an in-person tour, find out exactly what does the hospital offer and see if this that meet their needs, and then fill in those gaps again. One of the other things that I do a lot with with my clients is I do help them pack their bag, and not only pack their bag for themselves, but pack their bag for their either spouse or their partner, or even children if they would like to, just so it's already done for everybody. So not just thinking of just the mom, but thinking about others. I can't tell you how many times that been in a birth and the spouse or whoever else comes directly from work to the hospital. So it's great to be able to know in the bag, we have an extra set of, athletic clothes, comfortable clothes, sweatshirt, t-shirt, those sorts of things. So when you're preparing, just think a little bit broader than just the mom. Certainly the mom or the birthing person is important, but there's still smaller things as well. Just think about, what all the needs are. So when it comes to budgeting for the baby, the best thing I can say and what really helps with my clients is go from top tier priority, just the necessities. What are the bare necessities? And then go to that list of the indulgence. And that's also a way to prepare or to set up a baby shower registry. Put all the necessities that you want down there and then the indulgence. Or if you as the family, and again, I'm talking to you as you're talking to your client, if you as a family know you're going to take care of necessities, then put all your indulgence on the registry. So that way it's a mix and you're not trying to be overwhelmed with your budget by trying to take care of everything. So those are just some options and some thoughts. So as we go talking about our products, let's talk about at the same time, what are those necessities, right? So when we say necessities, what does that mean? First is the birth, whether it's at a hospital or it's at a birthing center. At some point, sometime, preferably, you're going home with the baby. And so necessity is what is the baby going to go home in, right? So that going home outfit, that whatever it is that you want to put, you put the baby in. You want to think about the season, and that goes with the blanket too. You want to think about the season. So, if it's wintertime, you want to make sure you have something that's thicker material and the outfit as well. And if it's spring or summer, certainly you want to have something that's a little bit lighter. I would recommend that if, family members or friends may make a going home outfit or may find something that's cute and unique like that, I've always recommend to just, if they want to, take a picture of the baby in that outfit and then take it off. Because I've seen many times that on the way home, spit up, burping, just been fed, car ride, and then the outfit is, ruined. So, or, needs to be washed right away. And some of the outfits I'm just specifically thinking of was one that was like knitted, and so for that reason, I would say go home outfit, make sure it's seasonal. And if it's something that's really special that you want to save, take a picture in it and then take it off. Take a picture and then take it off. And then also on the way home, you certainly want to make sure you have a blanket and burping cloth. The hospitals do have blankets as well, but again, if you have one that you want that's special, then that's certainly that can be utilized. And then a bag, some sort of bag to take not only items that maybe for the baby home, again, traveling from the hospital home or the birthing center home, but a bag that you can put what you receive or what your client receives as the mom as well. I know, sometimes they give you pads, they give you all sorts of different things. It gives you for the sitz bath, all sorts of things. So what is it that you want to use to bring home those items? Your hospital bag may or may not have enough room in it. So just want to consider that, everybody will go home with a bundle of things. And so that's one of the areas that we think of as a necessity is birth, planning for riding home from after delivery. And then travel. Oh, was there a question? Oh, okay. Yeah, Jerry, that's just a lesson learned. Just taking a picture of the outfit, especially if it's one that, is really special and that you want to keep. It's just, and taking a picture, that family member who gave it to you still receives that joy to know that the baby was in it, at the hospital. So it certainly meets that need. And then travel. So certainly car seat. Right, you need definitely a car seat to get home. So that's a necessity. Then you can also consider a baby carrier and a stroller a necessity. Now, when having a conversation again with the family, you want to have a conversation as to what their needs are and what it is that they are looking for, because there's so many strollers out there, right? And so many baby carriers out there. So just knowing what their lifestyle is or what their lifestyle they would like to have, and then use that when you're helping them make those decisions. For example, if they live in a city, then a city stroller or a lightweight stroller certainly could be sufficient. If they certainly not necessarily the first day home or newborn, but if they are ones that live in an area where they like, you know, there's a hiking trail or walking trail and they want to be outside and more nature, then, you know, doing things outdoors, maybe not just like the city concrete, but maybe rocks and different, you know, nature pieces of grass or anything like that, then they may want to consider a different type of stroller, maybe a little heavier, sturdier stroller. So those are the types of things you'll think of when you're having that conversation with them. And then also, you know, there's plenty of travel systems. So you can have the car seat, your baby carrier, and the stroller all together. They have some that you can mix and match. So just as a doula, just want to make sure you're aware of the different options out there in the event that you have a client that's a little overwhelmed and they're just trying to figure out, okay, how do we even make these types of decisions? Then just have those types of conversations with them too. And it really starts with, what are your needs? What is there, you know, for your lifestyle, what you like, and then find the right travel system out there for them. Okay, and another necessity, certainly the car seat again. So the car seat going home is a necessity. You can't take the baby home without a car seat. And then, but they can wait on the stroller and things. But I just want to mention that about the necessities. And then bedding. As soon as the baby come home, you want to make sure you have some place where the baby can sleep. Totally many options here. You can put them directly in the bib, you can do in a bassinet. Even if they think they want to do co-sleeping, definitely still should have a separate place, an independent place for the baby to sleep, and that should be prepared or be able to be prepared pretty quickly. So crib and bassinet or some form of a bassinet like that. Some families, depending on the size of like their home and things, want to put the baby right away in a pack and play. Then there's actually an infant, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but that's an option as well. So if they want to use the pack and play, you know, from the beginning for a little bit, they certainly can. And there's an infant component that we put on the top of it. So that could be sleeping quarters as well if they need to. But really a crib or bassinet is something that will have the longevity if they're looking for their dollars to go further. And then sleeping, you know, bedding sheets, and then sleeping garments. So what is it that you want the baby to sleep in? And again, thinking about the season. And then with that, we talk about a little bit later, but like, what do you want the baby to be swaddled in as well? So those are some of the things you want to think of as necessities when you think about getting, having the baby be comfortable and safe in their sleeping quarters. Okay, a couple questions here. Yes, to bring an extra bag. Yeah, I had a whole bunch of stuff. Just myself personally, I know I had a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, I need an extra bag just for these things to bring home. Oh, Peter, you said your hospital gave you a bag with everything. Oh, that's awesome. My hospital tried to give me a plastic bag, and I was like, we're not going to walk around with this plastic bag, so we put it in another bag. But yeah, it just depends on the hospital. Certainly does. Sarah, you said you remind the parents that they would use the infant car seat. Yes, very true. You use the infant car seat, and the stroller would be definitely longer. Yeah, it depends on their needs. Some want the travel system right away. Some of them, yeah, very true. How do you stay on top of what is the best or favorite of the needed items? So a lot of it, I am registered with a couple different blogs and things of that nature. So any of those marketing pieces, like a blog or even some websites that you like, you can just sign up and you can get alerts like that. Or even from time to time, especially in the beginning of the year, you know, there's always information out there about like the best, you know, the top baby products for 2020 or for 2021, or best baby products for the summer. Those sorts of websites are great. And it's definitely a way to at least see what's out there. And then there's a couple, if you all know, there's a couple of YouTube reviewers who are phenomenal, and they will have like 3 or 4 different strollers or cribs or whatever the items are, and then they'll walk through, you know, reviewing them. And so just being aware of some of your, some reviewers on YouTube also is helpful if you want to see it out in action without necessarily having to see it in the store and things. That's a great way too. Popular features. Yeah, great point, Sarah. I don't necessarily recommend brands. I recommend the items too. Yeah, because it depends on what their needs are. Yeah. And a lot of the brands are one and the same. For example, it could be one company that really is behind 3 different brands. And so they may have all 3 different price points, but it's really the same item. So that's why I definitely recommend products. Great, great points. Yep. Baby list is one for sure. Mm-hmm. Great, great questions and comments. Love it. Okay. So just going on, another necessity area is bathing, right? Don't have to do a bath every day. Wouldn't recommend it every day. But certainly whenever you're ready to do the bath, you want to already have those items. So some sort of bathtub, or if you want to use the sink, you want to just already help your client think of how they want to actually go do the bath for the baby and where. You know, do you want to do it in the kitchen sink? Do you want to do it in the bathroom? You definitely want to do it somewhere where you have control. So I wouldn't recommend doing it in the tub with the infant. So you just want to just have that conversation, or even practice. I've done that too with some of my clients. I've practiced, and I said, you know, we tried different items out with the baby doll to see what was comfortable. Because bathing can be, you know, doing a bath for an infant can certainly be an area that can give some anxiety if you're not prepared and you're not sure of how to do it. So it's an area that you certainly can build confidence in by being sure of the products that you have. So some sort of bathing, it could be a tub, it could be, you know, sometimes the hospitals I've seen where they've actually given you the tub. So just whatever works for the family. You just want to make sure that they have thought it out. Then the towels and washcloths. And this is something that I've had a couple conversations with clients before, just like, you know, why do I need to necessarily get a baby towel set or a baby washcloth? And I just mentioned, you know, as doulas, you can remind them, just mention that the materials of, you know, a baby washcloth is much softer and detergent also. So you don't want to use a towel that, you know, as adults you've been using for the last, you know, 3 months, 6 months, year, and put that on a newborn. You want to have towel set just for the newborn, because again, their skin is much sensitive, much softer, and you don't want to, you know, use anything that's abrasive. And so that's why you want to really use baby towels and baby washcloths. And then also when you think about the detergent and what you're washing those items in, you want to make sure it's something special for babies without the perfumes and those sorts of things. And then with that, you want to make sure that your family washes everything before it's actually used with the baby. For example, you know, the onesies, the towels, the socks, the mittens, those sorts of things. You want to make sure you do a good wash beforehand, because in the time that they were processed and they may have been, you know, shipped from another country, anything like that, you know, many hands probably touched it, and even chemicals and things. So it's just getting a good habit to just, if you do it as a doula, help them wash it as you prepare the nursery. I've done that many of times. And a toiletry kit. We'll just have some examples of them later, but definitely a toiletry kit is a necessity. There's some that I like more than others, just from use, and it's just what you're comfortable with, especially when it comes to like the nail, you know, the nail clips, the files. It's just some that are a little bit more, I find, have a little more control over than others. And then they'll find out what's comfortable for them, but you want to make sure they have some sort of toiletry kit. Yeah, and brush set. So let's see, oh my goodness, the apron towels, they are amazing. They're so big and they're wonderful and round. So everybody knows what an apron towel is? No. Shoot, I should have. Now I'm thinking about all these products. I'm like, I should have went and grabbed them around the house and brought them. But anyway, so the apron towel is literally like a big towel. So you think of almost like a beach towel, as in like the length of it, and it's wide, and you could literally put it around. There's a piece of it that goes around your neck like this, so you can actually pick the baby up, and the towel is on like from your chest all the way down, so you can wrap the baby up and the towel won't slide and fall and all those sorts of things. So it looks like an apron. It looks like a kitchen apron, but it's much larger, and I love it. It is great. Baby lift. So Karen, what about parents on a budget? Safe safety of buying secondhand. So yeah, that is actually a great topic to talk to your clients about, because you don't have to break the budget to do any of these items. These are some of these things you can actually get from almost, literally a dollar store as well. Walmart, Target, Amazon, all sorts of areas. But you do want to have that conversation about the secondhand, because there are certain things you don't want to do secondhand. I would never recommend a car seat secondhand for various reasons. You don't know if that car seat was in an accident. You don't know if that car seat has expired. You don't know if the car seat was actually on a dysfunction list or a recall list years ago, those sorts of things. So car seat is something that I would never recommend secondhand. I'm a little on that side as well with strollers, but I've seen them work fine. But personally, that's one of my things that I was really a little concerned with the stroller as well, because you don't know about the safety of it secondhand, or how long it's been, how many times it's been used, so those sorts of things. And the types of the wheels on the stroller, is it air versus the plastic ones, because they can waddle. So definitely have that conversation about secondhand. Anything like clothes, anything like that, that certainly should be fine. But any of these devices like car seat and strollers, even cribs should be okay. You just want to have that conversation with them so they just be aware of some of the things to look out for when they're buying secondhand. But that's a great question and a great thing to have a conversation with. A great item to have a conversation with your family. So Jerry, is this a job of the postpartum or the birth doula? Having these conversations, it's a little bit of both. So as a birth doula, you want to make sure that they're, prepared at birth, right? Prepared for birth, prepared their hospital bag, the items in that, and then prepared for being able to go home from the hospital or the birthing center. And some of these items they will need to go home. For example, those items that were on the birth slide, like the car seat, going home outfit, those are definitely things that as a birth doula, you want to make sure that they're good with. Postpartum is when all these other items pick up. Great question. Great question. I will put, there's a couple of podcasts, so I definitely will put in my email back out to you all. I will put some recommendations about the podcast. And I tell you, I can't talk enough about that apron towel. I'm with you, Sarah. Those are actually great. Oh, herbal bath kits. Okay. Now, Kristen, I have not done that. Okay, so I missed it. Sorry. So the herbal bath kits. Okay, that's a great recommendation. So we could look into that. Okay, Mama can join in the natural herb. Oh, I love that. Yeah, great idea. Okay, awesome. Yeah, cribs are on the borderline for me. They're on the borderline for me. But yeah, that is for any of those things. They definitely, standards can change. And then the cribs that have like the wider slats versus the smaller. Yeah, so those items are, they're definitely borderline. So having that conversation, let the family choose. But let them know they have options is, basically what we're saying. Let them know they have options. Yeah, broken slots where they fix. Yeah. We're all on the same page. Awesome. Okay. So so before we hop into some of the other products, are there any other areas that anybody else considers as a essential and necessity that we want to share? So I just wanted to hit those. So again, the birth, the bathing. But any other areas you think we all should, diapers? Yeah. That is actually a great area. You should put that in there. Yeah, Desi, you're absolutely right. Diapers. So as doulas, we want to make sure you're aware of the disposable diapers. Well, how to put them on. Some of them are so easy to use. They even give you the line on the diapers will change colors, when the diaper is wet. But then also being aware of diaper services as well as cough diapers. So yeah, you are absolutely right. So as a doula, being aware of the diapers also. Postpartum plan, yes. Postpartum plan, and that goes to being a postpartum doula. It's just, and having this conversation is helpful, and we talk about like their needs and what is the lifestyle that they want. All of that will build into the postpartum plan. Yes, the breast pumps, definitely if the mom or the birthing person wants to use breast pumps, the different types of them, the different styles of them. I even have breast pumps on the go. Yeah, being able to do that. And also that's one of the things when you are encouraging the family to talk to the hospital or the birthing center before that, you know, when they're making that selection as to where they want to give birth, ask them about the breast pumps at the hospital as well. Depending on the insurance, you can get a breast pump to go home with you as well. And then you can also rent, you know, a breast pump from the hospital. So having those conversations in advance can certainly help them with their planning. Great comments. Yeah, self-care items for the mom, for sure. Pre-planned meals, yeah. So that goes with that postpartum plan. Just how you're going to eat, how you're going to sleep, how you're going to prepare. Yeah, definitely. Oh, a breast milk donor to call for milk if the blood sugar levels fluctuate before the milk come in. Just about knowing the resources in your area. Yeah. And with that, that's actually a good point, Kristen. And with that also is knowing already what your insurance is going to give you, give the mom or the birthing person for any lactation consulting as well. How many visits, when, how do you schedule a visit? You know, you schedule it at the hospital before you leave, but just know how many you will have available to you and things. Yeah, that is definitely. Yep, exactly. Under ACA, you're exactly right, Sarah. Awesome. Yes, and Karen, to that point, having all of your information before the baby comes, as much as you can, is so helpful. It is such a stress reliever to be able to know, you know, insurance. And so one of the things that I work with my clients is we go over documentation. And I put it broadly, documentation from everything, how we're going to update the will, you know, what kind of information do you want updated in the will, what type of paperwork is needed for work for an insurance. Once the baby comes, you know, you want the baby to be covered right away. So get in advance from HR, what forms need to be filled out. Can you fill out most of them in advance? Yes. Can you submit them? No, but at least they can already be filled out for the most part. And you just fill in, you know, the name and the date, but all the other information is already filled out because many times you're trying to make decisions as to the insurance plan. The current one, does that work, or do you need to change to a different plan? So having those types of conversations, that planning, it all goes back to that planning before the baby comes, certainly can help with that part. Yep, diaper genies. Yes. So one of the I put a diaper genie in here because I definitely believe in that as well. Diaper genies are great. And there's so many different options out there. So let's keep going. I just wanted to highlight, because I did have a couple doulas that have asked me in the past, you know, just about the, you know, difference between the strollers and difference between carriers. And so just want to put it out here, and as well as the price points, right? So just in this slide alone, you'll see just, and again, it depends on what the needs are, but you'll see there's just, you know, it runs the gamut between the pricing of a stroller. So there's strollers that are $600, $800, right? So it just depends on what the needs are. Again, it goes back to what are the needs of the family, what type of stroller will work well for them, and then what is their budget. There is absolutely no reason why the family should be stressed out with trying to afford something that's $800 if that's not in their budget. There are plenty of safe and sturdy options out there when it comes to strollers and all of these items. So that's what I just wanted to reiterate as doulas, that we're just aware of some of the different options out there and the price point. So in the event that, you know, the family is asking for a recommendation, we at least know about some. So on these couple slides, just want to talk about some of the basic items. And on the bottom, I just put the description and the website in the event that you wanted to go and look at some, or you have this slide, then you always will have a backup. You know, you can always pull it up if you're on the phone with the client and they're asking about something. Just wanted this to be a resource for you. Okay, so strollers. Another one is baby bottles. Even if the mama wants to do 100% exclusive breastfeeding, I always still recommend that they at least have a bottle on hand, because you never know. I've had it where the mom had to go back to the doctor. I've had it where the mom got really, really sick, and then the spouse needed to actually do the next feeding. I needed to do one of the feedings. And so for that reason, I always say at least have one bottle, you know, at least one bottle on hand, even if they want to do exclusive feeding. Now with the bottles, so many bottles out there on the market. I love the Kumotumos and Dr. Brown's and Phillips. Those are three that are my go-to recommendations for various reasons. The clear bottles, the glass bottles are great because, you know, BPA and glass is better than plastic overall, but they may not be as practical as function for the families. And so there's different, you know, there's advantages, disadvantages for each bottle. Some of the other styles, like the Dr. Brown's, are more traditional shape. And so when you think about the diaper bag, so if the mom already has a diaper bag, I look at that diaper bag to see which bottle will work best for that particular diaper bag, right? So the Kumotumos are very soft. They're like, I don't have one, but they're very soft and flexible. So they, depending on how they want to transport them, that may not work with the bag that they have. So just want to look at the differences between them, and look at the reviews of them. And then the other thing is I look at the different nipple sizes. So you want to, you know, have there's slow flow, especially for the babies who may be a premature or preemie or having issues with drinking the milk to the other extreme. And so as doulas, we just need to be aware of the different bottles that are out there and be aware of making sure that when you're feeding the baby, that you're positioning the baby right to make sure that you're not putting in too much air or trying to not have any air as much as possible. Yes. So yeah, the silicone ones, I love them, but yeah, pace feeding for sure. Freeze your rags for the breast milk. Yeah, that is a good thing to consider. Yeah. You know, those mama bottles are good. Actually, I would put them on my list too. I actually do like them. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good recommendation because in the beginning, Sarah, like I said, you want to make sure you have 1 or 2 bottles available. So whatever bottles come with the pump, that is a good way to start. That is for sure, for sure. Yeah. So Morgan, that's a great comment. Yeah. So if the family's on Medicaid or WIC, then there's some other options available for them, some resources. Yeah, that is great. That is great. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I love the recommendations. Yeah. And so as doulas, with not only knowing the products, but just knowing some resources, especially in your area, staying abreast of some resources that's available, because that will be, I can guarantee you one day you're going to get asked and you're going to be able to bless the family by being able to let them know where there's some resources for sure. Car seats, like we said, definitely a necessity because you got to bring the baby home some way, somehow, right? So car seats, we want to look at the infant ones, and then certainly as they grow older, different car seats. So you just want to make sure that they're aware of the differences and aware of the requirement to having and the car seat tests, you know, at the hospital, those sorts of things. So just preparing the families to know the car seat needs to be done, you know, well in advance if you can, and be aware about the testing. And also, as a doula, you certainly can become certified yourself to do car seat testing as well, installing it and testing as well. We talked about that in one of our training chats. So if anybody has any questions on that, let me know and I can make sure we send that back out. And car seats, they run the gamut also in prices. They run the gamut in prices. Oh, okay. So Sarah, okay, great. So you have the training. Yep, and the fire department will test and install. Yep, great, great. Yep. So Sarah, you said you don't recommend a convertible seat. Yeah. So Sarah, I actually recommend if doulas can fit it in, they have the time and the finances, I definitely recommend getting the car seat certification because it's just helpful. It is helpful. Yep. Great feedback. Love it. Very helpful. Yeah, car seat is so important. Okay. Sorry, trying to get down, trying to move the picture so you can see the full screen. All right, so carriers. I think most of my most of my clients, and even my daughter, pretty much lived in the carrier. We were always around with the carriers. There's so many types. I would just say look at the season. Again, think about the season one. For example, actually none of them show it here, but this third one, the complete all season baby carrier, that's one of the ones that I had, and actually had a hood. And so it was helpful, you know, it just hung down when you didn't need it. But this was what I would consider one of my outdoor carriers. So when I was going, you know, to the grocery store, shopping, wherever, I used this type of carrier because it was, it had more structure with it. Baby could still, you know, move around, but certainly had more structure, and I felt more comfortable when I was out in public places for, you know, her to be a little bit tighter to me. And the hood was helpful because different seasons, you know, for especially in the winter time or rain, having that hood was very helpful. And then these are some of the carries that are a little bit lighter, that more of the wraps that I recommend for my clients to use in the house if they need to, or if they're not going to have, the baby's not going to be in the carrier for a longer length of time. And so it just depends, again, what works for them, what's most comfortable for them, and what is the use of them. Okay, so just being aware of that. Now I would, and there's even a training you can do as a doula. You can get trained in different carriers because there are tons of them out there. But just be familiar with the general concept of the carriers, and knowing, you know, that the clasps, and being able to do the testing, you know, the baby's chin and things. So just be aware of some of the common pieces, and you can always use any carrier. But as they're recommending them, as you're recommending them and having conversations with the moms or their families, it all goes back down to, again, what is it that they want to use the carriers for and function, and then finding the right carrier that's out there. And know that the baby will let you know what's most comfortable for them as well. So even if there's a baby carrier, for example, one like this that I had from as an infant, again, my daughter was preemie too. So as an infant, you know, there's the infant inserts that you can buy. Usually they're separate, but you can buy infant insert to use. So really from day one, they can use a carrier if they need to. Just want to make sure that the carrier is adjusted for the infant all the way up. My daughter, like I said, is 2 going on 3, but one day we're going to be able to go back out hiking, and I just ordered a carrier that goes for the back for toddlers. And so we'll see. She's either going to kill my back or my husband's back, but, you know, the carrier still, you know, can continue even past, you know, being an infant. So tons of options out there, different price points. Now, this is one that I would say parents or families can find carriers at many places. I mean, I found carriers for $30 or so. You know, you can see them on Amazon, but I found some very higher price point carriers at stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Bros and Coat Factory. So what I'm saying is if they want carriers and they're looking for a particular one, have them keep their eye out when they're in different stores like that, or looking on websites, because there's all sorts of price points when it comes to carriers. Carrying the LO Bean backpack, you like that? Yeah, there's so many out there, for sure. And Jerry, practice putting the car seat in and out. And I would say that also, Jerry, for many things. It is important to practice, period. Practice with the car seats if they can. Practice with the carriers if they can. Because I can tell you how many times you get a carrier and then you open it up a box and it looks, you know, all these pieces to it. And you're like, okay, wait a minute, which one goes in first? You don't want to necessarily do it. Work with the carrier the first time with the baby, right? You don't want to disturb the baby or the baby sit there suffering while you're trying to figure it out. So I always, as a doula, when I'm helping them set up, I have the doll baby and we try it out. And it's and that's even for swallowing. So to that point, Jerry, that is a great point. I would say practice. Yep. Yes, they fit newborns. Yes, because others have to be 8 pounds. Yep. And then there's actually an insert that I had for preemie as well. My daughter was 5 pounds when she was born. And so the first one that we used, I think, was 7 pounds. So yeah, that's something that you need to be aware of as a doula, that there's different weight limits, you know, for the carrier. So you need to be aware of that. So when you are discussing that with families, you at least have that in the back of your mind to make sure that it's a good one for them. Baby wearing groups. Local baby wearing groups have libraries where you can try out different styles. I have seen that, and I actually I haven't seen it at the library. You know where I have actually seen that in my area? I've actually seen that in a Facebook group. Yep, just like Sarah said, a Facebook group, as well as a meetup. So there's different ways. You just have to find in your area. I always just start with Googling, find out in your area where there's a baby wearing group. And then also, and again, this is pre-pandemic. So after the pandemic, maybe it'll happen to at some of the local baby stores, especially the specialty ones that have like all sorts of different strollers and things. They have classes and they have a lot of different carriers that you can go in with your client and try them out. So just think about the different stores as well in your area. Yeah, great points, great questions. All right, and then cribs, because I've had a doula ask me, you know, what was the difference between a pack and play and a crib? And so I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So the pack and play is really one that's more transportable, usually on wheels. For my daughter, we had multiple ones. I had one that was at, you know, grandparents' house, one downstairs, one at auntie's house, you know, some nurseries, some nurseries, depending on, you know, if it's a home nursery and things, actually ask for you to bring a pack and play or a play yard. So just depending on what their needs are, that may be a better option. Then you have cribs, different price points for the cribs, all sorts of things. So you want to think about where the baby's going to sleep, and you want to think about how the nursery is set up. If they have a separate room for the nursery, or if the baby is going to sleep in the parents' room from the beginning, just want to think about those so you can help them with knowing about some different options that are out there. And you can see this is really a changing station up top with the blue, the background blue, that's a changing station. But then some have also a sleeping station where you can actually put it in and it goes down deeper. So it's safe, you know, the baby, you know, moves and things, but it goes down deeper, but it is actually a infant insert for sleeping as well. So there's different options out there, but just as doulas, again, know the different options so you can help them at least narrow it down. Oh yeah, Sarah, you're right. Definitely can go to different ages with the baby wearing. Yeah, I love it. It's definitely helpful. All right, so then let's talk quickly about back to the bathing. Just some options here. You can see that the inflatable bathtub, that's one for toddlers, certainly not for infants, but just for toddlers. So there's different ones out there, right? And then there's a separate bathtub. You see here that's portable. I have some clients that are always on the go, always on the go. I think one of the client in particular, their first international trip, the baby was, I don't even think the baby was 9 weeks old yet. And so you can imagine when we were helping her pack and figuring out, you know, what she needs, a lot of it was portable. Like, what were the best portable items out there to help? And those are the things that we put on her list and we got it for her. So just knowing what are the options out there. And then some of the common bathtubs for babies, you know, is this one. The only one that I would say, and I try hard when we have these chats to just talk about the products and not brands, but I'm just putting the brands and the links in here because I wanted people to at least know the price points for things and see the range of things. So I never really bash a product, but the only product I will bash, and I say that as a caveat, but the only product I will bash is the flower tub. Have y'all seen the flower tub? The only reason why is because I've seen it before my eyes how that has not been the safest tub. Depending on the size of the baby, you always, you know, always keep your hand on the child anyway. But the flower tub, I have seen that tub slip and slide so much for babies that are of larger size that I am uncomfortable using it. So I'll just put that out there for whatever tub it is. And again, this is why you go back to practice and making sure you're comfortable. Whatever tub it is, you want to make sure it's secure and that the tub itself is secure, but then also you make sure that the baby is secure at all times. So you never leave the baby unattended or take the hands off of the baby. But the flower tub is one that I found myself fighting with the tub more than being able to bathe the baby. And I've seen it slip and slide in more than one occasion, more than one place, from the bathroom sink to the kitchen sink. I've tried multiple places, and that flower tub It just doesn't work for me. So that's just one I would recommend, that if you use, be very cautious, and for all of them, make sure you're comfortable with it. You love the flower tub, Sarah? It is not my thing, honey. It is not. No, it just, oh, I feel like I'm fighting the tub the whole time. And I love flowers, blooming mama's wellness. Y'all know flowers are like all over everywhere. So I was so excited, but it doesn't, not for me. Yeah, so the point is, find one that works for you, and know that one that works for you may not work for somebody else. Sarah loves the flower tub. I don't. So it just works. Figure out what works for you, right? Figure out what works for you. That's the message. What works for the family and for you, especially if you're going to be the one giving the baths or doing the bathing for the baby. Figure out what works for you and be aware of that in advance. So if you see, when you get there and you're reviewing the items before you give that bath, make sure you know what you're comfortable with. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the grooming kits, or the essential kits, soap, something to bathe the baby in. I want to make sure, if you can, something that's organic. Want to remove things that have a lot of, chemicals in it, that have scented things, none of that, especially for a newborn. You want to be as pure as possible. And you may want to help if the mom wants to figure out or the family wants to figure out what's the best one. You may want to help them with the research to find what's the best one that's available to them. And then the grooming kits, I've seen some hospitals actually had some, like the nose aspirator and things like that, you already have some of those items, but just to have a grooming kit. The nail clipper, the one that I actually like the best is the one with the light that's on it. So you can definitely see that nail bed so clearly when you have the light on it. And that's actually, as a doula, something that I keep in my bag, my postpartum bag. You clean and you sanitize and things, but it's the one that I use the best, because I've never clipped or never harmed the baby at all because of the light that's on it, and you can see very, very clearly. So the nail clipper like this with the light right on top, awesome. And then they have the thermometers now too that are Bluetooth, are the ones you can do the forehead and the Bluetooth. So there's different thermometers out there. So just being aware as a doula, what are the options that are out there. And if anything that you see as a doula, you're doing your postpartum visit, you're gonna do anything you don't know, and you have questions about, ask. Please ask the mom, ask whoever is there, or get on YouTube. Google and get on YouTube. All right. My daughter's 24, amazing me to see all the merchandise. Yeah, it changes. I'm telling you, there's new merchandise every day. So as a doula, don't get overwhelmed trying to know everything out there, but just know the key areas, and you will always be able to at least get the newest information. Yeah, bring the nail files. Yeah, Sarah, you're with me. That's why I keep it in my bag, because one, I am comfortable with the one with the light on it, and moms usually are very nervous about about taking care of those nails for those newborns. So as a doula, being able to help the mom learn how to do it and being comfortable with the one that works best for you is key. Yep, definitely. Oh, that's a great website. So for those that are interested in finding out baby wearing help, there's a website called babywearinghelp.org. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome, awesome. See, this is why we're here. Share information. Awesome. All right. So another thing that's helpful, not necessarily a necessity, but very helpful. So almost a necessity, some sort of humidifier, definitely for the air in the nursery, depending on the house, if it's older home and things, regardless, a humidifier diffuser is helpful. The humidifier, and you definitely now all cold humidifiers, right? So remember, cold humidifiers, that's pretty much all you're going to see on the market anyway, but the cool mist or cold humidifiers, they're very helpful. You can set it and you can set it and almost forget it. And there's tons of them. And depending on the size of the room, it may be helpful to even have more than one humidifier. We have 2 in my daughter's room. And the diffusers, I like the oil diffusers, but I would just say you want to just make sure wherever you put it, you want to have it a distance away from wherever the baby is sleeping and resting or playing. So, and especially in the oil ones, because you never know, what may cause the baby to sneeze and those sorts of things. So just want to, wherever you put the humidifiers or diffusers, just want to make sure in the nursery, and again, this is helping them set it up, that you want to make sure that it's a distance away from wherever the baby is sleeping and things. Okay, And talking about the mom, one of the things that I always have conversations with the moms about is just that nursing bra, or just good undergarments, period, you know, in general. I think I've told you all about how I've helped many moms find underwear that are comfortable for them, especially after birth. So having that conversation and knowing that there's a lot of options out there, and there's some bras that are, you know, as inexpensive as $12 as you see there, and then there's some that are, you know, 50 and above. So just depending on what's comfortable, what material works best for them, you just want to be aware of that and be able to help them. You probably will help them research, you know, figure out what's comfortable for them. Juko, are you saying you're trying to write down fast? You don't have to, Juko. So, you know, so just want to make sure everybody's aware. This PowerPoint, I usually send it out to everyone afterwards so you can see it. And that's why I took the time to do the description and even put the link in there so you can have it. And then that way, if you need to refer back to it in the future, you can have it. Sarah, the hands-free pumping bra, lifesaver, right? Lifesaver. So for those that don't know, it's a bra that has the hole. Okay, let me not do so visual, but that has the hole in the front, and so you can literally have the pumps, and you don't have to. And that's actually what I recommend for my clients that are back at work, and what I personally use back at work. I use the hands-free pumping bra at work, and it was very, very helpful. Yep. And high chairs or areas that we're going to feed. And oh my goodness, you all let me know that we're running over. I'm so sorry. It's 4 minutes after 1. I didn't realize that. I tell you, I can talk about products all day long. So if anybody needs to leave, feel free. And I try to honor our time, and we try to stay together around an hour. So if you need to leave, please know that I'll be sending this PowerPoint out to you, and you can definitely refer to it a little bit later. Just a couple more slides I just wanted to run through quickly. High chairs, there's tons of high chairs, tons of different options out there. I just wanted to show the basic or traditional ones that look more like this one on the left here. And then there's some that are higher for counters, some that can transition to, you know, if it's a baby chair, high chair that transition to the kids being a little bit older. Some that are where you can remove the tray and they're positioned to actually go to a table or go to, you know, like an island, a higher island. So just look at the different options that are out there. And then sound machine, totally helpful for newborns. This sound is comforting, right? So it's comforting. There's some that can be set like with your phone. So especially when you're doing sleep training, I would recommend definitely one that's with your phone, so you can, the mom or the family can peep at the door, and then they can help with the sound, you know, either turn it up a little bit higher or just stop it, or, you know, you can do different things like that when you're doing sleep training. And then there's your traditional sound machine. Those you can find, you know, in everywhere from Walmart and everywhere else. Okay, and then there's some sound machines that also have the light with it, or that can put shapes on the walls and things. And so there's tons of options out there. You just want to consider which one works best for the family. Okay. And baby bags, diaper bags, tons out there. And again, they run the gamut. I've seen some diaper bags that are $500. They're great, but not necessary, right? Depending on what the needs are for the family. So there's diaper bags that are out there, like I was mentioning. So you see the front of the diaper bag, you can put all sorts of different items in there. And then there's some that have like a little insulated portion for bottles. And so that's why I was saying, if the mom already has a diaper bag, then you want to consider what are the compartments in there, and if the bottles work for it. And then this right here, you know, you can put the bottle in, you can put breast milk and some snacks in. So just think, there's tons of different diaper bags out there in different sets. So you just think about what's useful. And then there's some diaper bags like this that have where you can, you don't have to have a separate item for the baby. And then I'm being very general because I want to make sure all of us are on the same page. So when you take the baby out to change the baby, when you're out in public, You want to make sure you're laying the baby on something, right? I have had it where if you forget it, or the mom or the client forgets it, then, you know, they say, well, what should I use? I've taken the shirt off my back. I've taken a jacket. I've taken whatever else. You know, you definitely want to, even when you're using, you know, in the public bathrooms or the restaurants, using the diaper area, diaper changing station that's there, you definitely want to make sure you put something there between the baby. And so some diaper bags have it built in, which is helpful. And some diaper bags have it built in also with sleeping compartments too. Similar to this, but it's a little bit more structure to it. So tons of options out there, just be aware of it. And when the mom is talking about the diaper bag that they want to purchase, just ask, you know, what is it that they need? Is it a diaper bag that's for travel? Is it a diaper bag for just going from home to the nursery or daycare or back? So just think about what are the needs for the diaper bag, because they may need to have more than one. But I love the changing pads that are attached. One less thing to think of. So last slide on products. Just wanted to show some extras. So this baby shusher is a lifesaver. It is just what it sounds like. You turn it on, it sounds like a sound machine, but the shh noise that you make when you're rocking the baby, the baby shusher does just that, right? And you can find it pretty much everywhere, anywhere too. So the baby shusher, I think the last time I saw it, yeah, it was like $30, $35. The diaper pail, somebody mentioned it up earlier in our comments. That's right here. The diaper pail, there's different brands of it. Totally, any brand works well. This one I think was like around $60 that I have. Now, the traditional nose aspirator, you know, the bulb, that's one that you probably get at the hospital, but the one that I use a lot is the Nose Frida, which is here. You can get it from Target, Walmart, Amazon, anywhere. It's like $16. You put your lips on it and you suck it out. It's disgusting, but it works, right? And it has a filter there, so nothing, you know, certainly gets in your mouth, but this Nose Frida, it really helps. And they have different items also that they have for that particular brand. The DockATot is one that you probably see a lot. It looks like almost a blow up pool, but it's cloth, and they have different colors that you can put on it. But it's a way the baby can sleep also in the DockATot. The recommendation is not to put it inside of a crib or anything like that. I won't say that I haven't seen it done, but that's not recommended. But you know, the moms or whoever is sitting on the couch, you may want to have the DockATot close by, and the baby can lounge and can sleep in that. That's the purpose of it. And there, you can get some that are, you know, secondhand or places, but the DockATot is usually around $100 something or so, $100, $200. This is a swaddle, a zipper swaddle, but you see that it has a place for the baby's arms to be up, because that's where they naturally sleep, the arms up by the ears and things. And so you can swaddle certainly with a blanket or anything like that, but there's some swaddles that are pre-made that are helpful for moms or for others that may have issues with swaddling. You unzip it, put the baby in it, and the baby's arms can be up and it's comfortable for them. We had this conversation in one of the other chats I just wanted to mention here, right here on the right, and that is the wonderful Snoo. It's expensive. It's $1,400, but some folks really love it. It's a smart sleeper because it, you know, it mimics the movements of being in the womb, and it has different sounds. And so the baby starts to stir or starts to cry, then it's a smart device. It's a smart sleeper, so it'll move faster, or they'll turn up the sound of it. So it's supposed to help you not to have to actually do movements or touch the baby, and it helps the baby go back to sleep. Like I said, it has a hefty price tag. It's about $1,400. They do have a rental option, so I would recommend for your clients, if they're interested in that, to try the rental option first and then purchase it if they like it. I can tell you how many of my clients' babies can't stand it. So you may just want to consider the rental option if you want to do that. So just wanted to mention those couple extras. Yes, Deb, rent them. I always say rent, just to make sure that it works for you. Do not put the baby carrier seat on the table. Yeah, you want to be safe first. Always, always, always. The diaper genies, yeah. Nose Frida, it does gross people out, but it works. It works for sure. Tasha, you ordered a diaper bag that folds out. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And the ones with the tight diaper pad is so much easier. Yeah, it's one less thing you have to think about forgetting. Jerry, I agree. Yes, for the DockATot, you do not want the baby to sleep in there. Yep. Yep. Well, you don't want the baby to, so you want them to lounge, but you definitely don't want them to sleep in there and think of that as a replacement from like a crib or something of that nature. That is misleading. It is a lounger, definitely a lounger. All right. Kristen, you say go back to the car when you do changes. So the public bathrooms are gross. I agree. I agree. But in the pinch of time, if you need to, then you want to be able to use the bathroom if you need to. One of the things that I always recommend to moms is like if they're out, like at the mall, think of the stores that have a very nice mother's lounge and a part closer to that. So for example, like Nordstrom has like a nicer mother's lounge versus another anchor store that may just have a regular changing station. So as a doula, you know what stores are available in your area, just be able to recommend that for the mom too. When they're out and they're like at a mall, park closer to the places that have a nice diaper changing area. Okay. And I think, did we get all of the questions in there? Thanks again for this. And yep, Karen. I know I'm rushing because I know we're over time, but I just wanted to make sure everybody's questions. Should I put the baby cushion on the table? Any questions are answered. Dressing room, yep. Sade, you had to leave. Okay, see you a little bit later. Yep, changing rooms. And I do the car a lot. I definitely recommend the car a lot. That is definitely an option. And it's more, you can move around a little bit easier and things as well. But, when you're out, this is going to be a time where you're going to have to change your baby out. So that was baby products. Next chat will be next Friday. So I didn't know if there was any topics that anybody had that they wanted to throw on the table. If not, one of the topics that came up before was about insurance or ways that parents can afford or pay for doulas. So that is an option that we can talk about. Did anybody else want to throw something in the chat onto the table? Doula backups. So that's doula backups as in finding them or agreements and partnering with doulas to figure out what's the best way to have the backup? Both. Okay, that's an option. Oh, Deb, I'm glad you find it helpful. Awesome. All right, ladies, and for those that are on the chat, any other topics? So doula backups is on the table, and I just put out there about being able to pay for doulas, some ways that you can recommend for families to consider when they're thinking about how they can afford you as a doula. Anything else? Oh, Kristen, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Awesome. We normally don't run over this much. so Kristen, for others, or maybe the first time. Backups, so just how to find them. Got it. Gwen, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you all. I appreciate it. Okay, so what I'll do is in our follow-up, I will put this PowerPoint in there so you can have it, and I'll also put what the next topic is based on any feedback that I receive and looking at the formal list that was provided in the past. All right, so with that, if you're on mute, you can certainly unmute yourself. Are there any last questions that we need to address regarding any of the products or anything that we talked about? I love the chat and the conversation we had ongoing. That is perfect. That is exactly what the purpose of this is. But any other last minute concerns or recommendations somebody wants to throw out there?
Bianca, is there any way I can get the previous topics that you've done? Can I get the slides for them if I put in my email?
Yeah, so is there a particular topic or just in general?
Previous topics. So like you've had the last couple of weeks topics and I unfortunately missed them just because of different circumstances. So if I...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would mention that so yes, I can definitely send out send to you the last PowerPoint. The videos are actually in the birthing community, the birthing platform community so to get those videos, you actually need to join that particular community, but absolutely can share the slides. Absolutely.
Is there a way, could you also send me the link to join the birthing community?
Sure. So
Thank you.
just for those especially that are new that aren't familiar, so the Birthing Community is a monthly membership subscription community, and that's where all of this information is available. We have different events for doulas, and we call it the Birthworker community because we also, for midwives and lactation consultants and specialists as well. But we have different events from everything from mentoring Mondays, where we do just this, where we get on and as doulas, we talk if there's any thing that you need mentoring on. There's different master classes and trainings, and there's just a whole host of resources that are available in that particular community as well. So that is an option. I always make it available to everyone. You can definitely always get the PowerPoints, but if you want a little bit more, if you find you need a little bit more, then the birthing community definitely is good for you. And so if you ever go to the website, and let me go to the next slide. If you ever go to my website, it is on there as well. You can get to the birthing community or any classes or anything like that we have, bloomingmamawellness.com, and on there you will see the links to join everything there. You can follow me on Instagram, and I will usually put out, you know, what's going on, what's the latest and information that's out there, and like about our chats as well. And if you ever need me, you can certainly email me. Did anybody have any other last question or thoughts before we hopped off? No? Okay, well,
no, just happy to be a part and to be on the line. It's great information.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's helpful. That's what I wanted to do. Just a source for your community where you can get.
Yes, it's a great source. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Gwendolyn. Awesome.
Welcome.
With that, thank you for staying with me. Like I say, forgive me. We don't normally go over this late, but I just wanted to make sure you had the information that you needed. Okay, and so Michelle, you send me your email and I can make sure you get that. Okay. All right. Well, with that, then have a wonderful Friday, and I'll see you all next Friday.
Bye.
Bye.